So what in the world is going on today? So yes, this headline right here definitely ruffled a few feathers. It says CD Projekt RED confirms that Phantom Liberty is the biggest expansion in the studio's history. So we're going to back that up a little bit because the moment I saw this headline, I knew it was not true. Now we do have official comments from CD Projekt RED about this headline and about a recent article that was released. It was an interview with CDPR. And we're going to talk about the expansion because we do actually have some interesting updates about it. But yeah, temper your expectations for sure. Also, take a look at this one. CD Projekt RED just did something no one was expecting. The publisher and developer is once again becoming a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, this is extremely good news for those of us that, hey, want to see CDPR actually succeed and produce amazing content and games. Now, furthermore, Cyberpunk's open world problem versus Elden Ring, which of course is the Game of the Year winner. Can Cyberpunk eventually take on Elden Ring in this manner? This is going to be an interesting one for sure. I'll get into that topic later on. But yeah, check this out right here. That's right, I'm doing a very big next-gen console giveaway. So for a chance to win a PS5, Xbox Series X, or Nintendo Switch, be sure to follow that link in the pinned comment. Good luck to everyone who enters. So yeah, we got to talk about this headline right here. Oh boy. Definitely stirred the pot. So yeah, this is an interview with CD Projekt RED and it was translated. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what they had to say about the expansion. It goes on to say this. We asked the company, which is CD Projekt RED, when the expansion marketing campaign would start. They said we do not provide this information, which comes from CD Projekt RED. The release date is also unknown. However, the studio confirms that the work is going according to plan, which is great to hear. And they said, yes, we feel comfortable with the current state of work on the expansion, informs the representative of CD Projekt. He also adds that it will be the largest expansion in the studio's history. We hope that the new adventures and characters will attract those who are already familiar with Cyberpunk and also encourage many new players to start playing in Night City. Now, hold up. We're going to get into this even more because this was actually not translated correctly. And unfortunately, a lot of news outlets picked up on the story and ran with it, saying, hey, this is going to be the biggest expansion ever in CD Projekt RED's history. Is it going to be a big expansion? Yeah, sure. Is it going to be bigger than Blood and Wine? I would not hold your breath on that one. I would not expect that whatsoever, but it is going to be a pretty sizable expansion. It's not going to be like an entirely new city though. Now we do have some new comments from CD Projekt RED. Marcin Moment, who goes on to say this, just wanted to point out that this part is about the biggest budget when it comes to expansion packs we've released. We will be talking more about the game scope related details in the future. So yeah, they will actually be talking to us about how big this expansion is going to be, because a lot of us are wondering, considering that, yeah, you know, we're waiting very patiently to find out more, which I'm willing to do. But we're also wondering, hey, what's going to be the price point? What's the release date? That sort of thing. But it seems like soon enough, we will be finding out about those details. Now, when they worded this, when they said that this is one of the biggest budgets spent on an expansion, they really do mean it. And I think a lot of that comes from the talent that they're acquiring over at CD Projekt RED. You got to also remember they have a lot of the development team on this expansion, if not most of the development team right now at CD Projekt RED working on the expansion. But most noteworthy, yeah, it's going to cost a pretty penny to get Idris Elba and of course, Keanu Reeves back on board here. So yeah, that cost is also going to make that budget implode, I guess you would say, for sure. So I think a lot of the budget is honestly going towards the talent, you know, and the development team, and is a bit different from the Witcher 3 expansion, considering that they didn't have a Keanu Reeves, they didn't have an Idris Elba. So that is most likely what they are talking about. Now, a lot of you guys did really appreciate the honesty from CD Projekt RED. Here's this reply. It says, while this is a bit of a downer, how upfront you are, tempering expectations is much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, I have to say kudos to CD Projekt RED for immediately getting on this and saying, hey, slow down. This is not what we meant. This is not like our biggest expansion ever. Just keep your expectations in check, of course. All right, so yes, CD Projekt RED has also been making some big moves. Let me tell you what. The success of Edge Runners and what they've been doing with updating Cyberpunk 2077 has helped them out big time. Check this out right here. It says, CD Projekt once again tops Ubisoft in market cap amid Assassin's Creed publisher trouble. So, yeah, this is huge because it's been a while since CD Projekt RED has been on top, and now they are the #1 gaming company over in Europe, according to market cap with their stock. And you can see some of the stock reports right here that they are on the up and up, which is great to see. And then, unfortunately for Ubisoft, they are on the downturn. And yeah, they can, of course, recover if they really tap into what their audience wants. Rainbow Six Vegas. That's all I'm saying. That's what I would love to see, something like that. But it seems like they are going back to, you know, their roots. They're going to be remaking Splinter Cell, remastering that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that sort of thing will actually help them in the future. All right, so let's get into the article, though, and some of the details. It says, this is not the first time that the Witcher developer has outperformed Ubisoft, In May 2020, CD Projekt became Europe's most valuable gaming company, outshining the French publisher. This happened just months prior to the botched launch of Cyberpunk, which ended up sending CD Projekt stock into a downward spiral. And honestly, I wasn't expecting CD Projekt to make such a big turnaround so quickly. I just hope it keeps going. Now, it goes on to say, so the company has been struggling to regain the trust of both players and investors ever since. However, the recent success of Cyberpunk, thanks to the next-gen update, a series of patches, and the Edge Runners anime series, a new business strategy, and a strong financial performance have helped CD Projekt start growing once again. They have a lot in the pipeline, by the way. That's like one of my biggest concerns, is when you see a company do so much all at once, but they're getting immense support from Epic Games. So yeah, definitely some interesting things are happening with CD Projekt, and kind of wondering, like, is CD Projekt going to be one of the biggest gaming companies here in the next 5 to 10 years because of their relationship with Epic Games? I think that is actually a possibility. Now, we have some Edge Runners news here as well. Check it out. Zach Aguilar of Edge Runners, he's the English voice actor of David, has been nominated for Crunchyroll's 2023 Anime Award. So congrats to him. I hope he wins it. He's going to be up against some talent, of course, but we'll see what happens. I think he did an excellent job with that for sure. Now, we got to talk about this one. I mentioned in the headlines, Cyberpunk's open world problem. Check it out. Cyberpunk has an open world that invites you to ignore it. Let me know if you guys actually agree with this or not. It's going to be one of the things I'm looking after when it comes to patch 1.7 and, of course, the expansion, if they actually can improve this open world. This is what the article goes on to say. It says, you do a lot of things in CD Projekt RED Cyberpunk, but far and away, my most common action was pulling up the map, looking for a fast travel point, then walking, running, or driving to said fast travel kiosk, pulling up the map again, and warping to a new location. Every time, it was much like the writing that sentence, exhausting. Do you guys play Cyberpunk in that manner? Are you just absolutely needing to skip the open world itself and fast travel? Please let me know if that's the case. I know that this game definitely needs to be fleshed out with Night City. There needs to be more random events and characters tied to locations. That's one of the biggest things I think makes an open world successful, is when you have interesting factions and characters tied to locations, and they just kind of lack that in Night City for sure. Furthermore, it goes on to say this. Here's what I wrote about Elden Ring, From Software's own foray into the era of big map, back when I was worried that From Software too might have been enraptured by scale alone. Goes on to say this, the term open world has such grand implications. In the past, most video games were level-based, guiding players from one carefully constructed section to another. I still love that, by the way. I love linear-based games. A combination of limited imagination and limited technology, games like Metroid or Ultima were early flirtations with what we'd later dub open world. The technology part changed, and our game maps became big, laughably big, to the point that companies openly bragged about digital mileage. But rarely did imagination follow, to the point that open world now frequently channels Blurry visions of repetitive and mindless objectives copied and pasted across a vast, samey landscape. We've swapped digital mileage for endless hour counts, and I get the concern there. Now, with Elden Ring, they actually pulled off an amazing open world. Now, furthermore, it goes on to say this right here. Elden Ring's world, the lands between, is a character, and you can feel its history leaking out all around you. The scale is enormous to a laughable degree, but it also has presence. Night City also has a name, but rarely in my 40 plus hours spent exploring its nooks and crannies did it truly come alive. The best moments in Cyberpunk, admittedly a game of some very high highs and very low lows, even after dozens of patches, happened when I was face to face with someone telling me about how Night City had treated them. So, yeah, that's just telling me that there's an absence of stories. And most notably, for me personally, one of the cool things about Red Dead Redemption as a franchise and that series is the random events. I just loved roaming around, and then that question mark would appear, and you would know that maybe something weird was about to happen, that you were going to get involved with some sort of shady character. That's what they need in Night City. They need someone flagging you down on the side of the road. Something like that leads into a dynamic story. That's stuff that I would love to see. Furthermore, the article goes on to say this. What became clear over time was that by force and with patience, I was turning Cyberpunk into a linear experience, an observation pointed out by someone watching the stream. I'd finish a mission on my checklist, and move on to the next. The open world, no doubt, made with great pains and exploited labor over many years, was carved away. Rarely was enough gained by randomly poking around a nearby alley that I felt any motivation to spend trying to find out what wasn't already highlighted on the map. And even then, much like the game's indecipherable loot, it was often hard to figure out what was actually worth pursuing. We've talked about this before, and man, some of my favorite open worlds tell you what you're going to get before you go on the actual mission. It tells you either in the menu, or the character says, hey, I've got some really cool armor waiting for you after this, don't you worry. It makes it like this carrot stick that keeps pushing you forward in terms of rewards. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, I always mention that. It had a great system with the story elements that were missions that were tied together by story, but you always knew at the end of the journey there was gonna be a really, really cool award, and it just kept me playing. That's one game that I just remember I always wanted to go back and play it. But yeah, I wish they would do that for Cyberpunk. But anyway, let's get into your top comments from my most recent video, which was, of course, about this right here. Cyberpunk Update 1.7, The Brutal Truth. New E3 features, big features that need to be removed. It's an interesting video. Check it out if you missed it, of course. Some really cool E3 features have been added into the game through the power of mods as well. But yeah, Update 1.7 isn't going to be including anything grandiose like third-person perspective. I do not think it's going to get to New Game Plus, so that's what the video was about. Let's see what you guys had to say about it, shall we? So Steven says this: I would like for them to add hit squads to the story. Interesting. The one thing that always surprised me was after the heist, you would think Arasaka would be doing everything they could to try to get the chip back. The hit squad comes in the form of Arasaka elite troops, or they could do like they did in Assassin's Creed Odyssey with mercenaries that come after you. Dude, man, that's one system I loved in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it kind of freaked you out when a mercenary would, be near, especially if they had like their pet with them, a lion or whatever. But yes, that would be very, very cool if they did add this system in the game. It's something, honestly, that I was expecting. More police systems for corporations. Even factions would have their own groups go after you. So it's disappointing that's not in the game. But yeah, the police system is going to be updated. I don't know if they're going to tap into a sort of system for factions and corporations. But my God, it'd be cool if they were warring with each other as well. Now we have this one from Nikel, who says this: I agree. For me, the police system is absolutely vital to Cyberpunk gameplay. Night City is supposedly a very dangerous place where a stray bullet can get you at any second. I love the game and the story, but I don't feel like there's a sense of adventure traveling through Night City. I love exploration because it's beautiful, but I would appreciate a little more. Yeah, a little more danger, because this is supposed to be, not exactly the safest city. They advertise that on the radio. They advertise it in the loading menus. And it's not really reflected in gameplay. Now, we have this post here. It's a pretty long-winded one from Z+7, who says, I really want to see a lot with this game. Also, really hope they never stop supporting it, because at this point, the possibilities are endless. Couldn't agree more. Car customization, more quick hacks, more clothing options, more weapon types, more gang types around the city, more roaming gangs instead of stationary ones, the types that will track you down here and there, but not all the time, more missions, different types, and more fun gigs. It seems like you guys are really kind of tapping into the idea of people bounty hunting you, which is very interesting that several of you guys have mentioned that, and I would love to see that for sure. Now, furthermore, he goes on to say this: more cars, more buildings you can enter in the city. Seems like more doors are just locked. I like the way way more bars and stuff. We need more cyberware. We need places like chop shops where you can bring stolen cars and get money for them. How is this not in the game? More missions with our favorite main characters in the story, like Pan and Judy and Silverhand. And it would be sick if you could find someone who makes him a new cyber body so you can actually transfer that data to his new body. Dude, that would be amazing. More stuff to do on the Badlands. See, you're like detailing everything that I was kind of hoping for the game, you know what I mean? This is stuff that I was expecting at launch. Like Badlands, I was like, dude, they're going to have that like fully fleshed out because they have the Nomads. It's going to be a fully realized faction. That's what I was foreseeing, but never happened. Now, Pacifica needs more of an active war type environment where gangs literally have no man's land as they fight for territory. There should be an active territory grid on the map that shows which gang is capturing where as they go at it and move around. Better character customization, more map and DLC, and then a flashlight that can be activated from your actual cyber eyes. And this is like features, again, that are in many games that should be in Cyberpunk. I mean, give us night vision, the ability to make yourself more of a cyborg like Adam Smasher, or those cyber girls with the weird legs, flying cars. There's just so many ideas. I go on and on. Yes, I love that comment. You nailed down so many features that I'm crossing my fingers that maybe just modders can get to. But yeah, Anomaly says this: a more improved, harder, smarter Adam Smasher boss fight would be sick. Also, if you left him alive, allow him to randomly seek you all in Pacifica or something as random boss fights. Once again, I'm seeing this commonality between a lot of your comments that you guys want to be like chased around Night City by some sort of force. It sounds like a really cool idea, and it gives you kind of like a sense of paranoia. Since you are a mercenary, you would expect danger to follow you. Now it says, I also feel mercs after you at random points of gameplay, especially if you are in Santo Domingo or Pacifica or Watson. More cyber psychosis. Some can be narrative progression, and we could have some more random generated ones as well. More cyber psychos. So that's another thing. But yeah, there it is. Thank you all so much for the comments and thoughts and ideas there. I just think CD Projekt RED should definitely listen to what you guys have to say when it comes to Cyberpunk Orion, which of course is the sequel, and take into consideration what you guys are asking for, because a lot of these ideas are superb and they should definitely go into the sequel. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk news. I have you guys covered. I hope to cover, by the way, Hogwarts Legacy and Starfield. Look out for those videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.